We now have a pretty solid understanding of what responsive design is and why we'll be implementing it in our application. Now let's head on over to the Material UI documentation and take a look at some of the tooling that they provide us to use to implement responsive design. I'm here on the Material UI documentation page on the left under Customization, Theming, and Breakpoints. So breakpoints are the most basic concept of Material UI's responsive design, in that these are how we actually know what screen size we're at, okay? Or rather, they define the screen sizes that we can detect. So the different breakpoints that we'll be working with are extra small, small, medium, large, and extra large. And each of these corresponds to a different pixel value representing a screen width. Okay, so this illustrates it nicely here. So you can see the extra small is going to be from 0 pixels to 600 pixels. And this is typically where your phone screens are going to be. And then the small is going to be 600 to 960 pixels. This is typically where phones in landscape mode or smaller tablets are going to be. And then medium, 960 to 1280, is going to be your larger tablets. And then 1280 to 1920 is going to be your regular desktop size. And then above 1920 is going to be your extra large. All right. And if you remember from when we went over the default theme, that these values are actually stored in our theme.breakpoints object. So as it says here, you can actually customize these values if you have specific breakpoints or requirements that you need to work with. However, for our purposes, I've found that the defaults work really well and are really consistent, so we're just going to stick with those. If we scroll down here, we can see an example that really helps to illustrate the concept clearly. Okay, so here we see this green box. It says that up of large, it's going to be green, up medium, it should be blue, and down small, it should be red. Okay, and this is corresponding to the styles right here. All right, these styles. So here we see that they're using this syntax to set, or rather check, the theme.breakpoints.down. So if we are below the small screen size, we're going to apply this background color, the secondary main color. Okay, and then if we are up from medium, so if we're above the medium breakpoint, it's going to use this main color. And then if we're above the large breakpoint, it's going to use this green color. All right, so we can see the screen is currently, or the rectangle rather, is currently green. So if I go ahead and start to adjust my screen, I'll scroll down here so we can see it again. Well, we see that the color's changed, although it looks like it changed to a pink color. So, okay, that must be their red. If we go up, blue, and all the way up is green. I guess since I'm zoomed in here, it changed a little faster than I expected. But so here we're above the large breakpoint, and so the green color is being applied. But as we go down here, the blue color is being applied. And then once we get down below the small breakpoint, the red color is applied. I'll go ahead and resize this all the way back up. And if we go over, we can actually scroll up here, or scroll down rather, and it mentions the use media query hook. Okay, and it says you can learn more about it on that page. So here on this page, if we scroll down, this gives us the example of how we can actually check those breakpoints within our code and not just within our styles using the use media query hook. And so before, here, we're able to use the theme.breakpoints functions in our style object to change our styles based on the screen size. But here, using the use media query hook, we can actually change the content based on the screen size as well. We import the use media query hook from Material UI, and then we go ahead and use that hook and pass it Here, they pass it a regular CSS media query, and then this will return a Boolean, so true or false, based on whether or not that matches. We can combine the two concepts though, down below, and use Material UI's breakpoints to pass in as the query for our use media query hook. So we'll use media query and pass in theme.breakpoints.up for small, and so this will return true if we are above the small breakpoint. And you can see that that is here. And if I go ahead and start shrinking this down all the way to the smallest size and scroll down, then we should be able to find that it says matches false now, because we are now below the small breakpoint. So it returns false. I'll go ahead and make that bigger. And so we'll use a combination of both using the theme.breakpoints functions within our styles and the use media query hook within our components to change the content and styles of our application based on the screen size. Now, I usually stick to theme.breakpoints.down and then specify the breakpoints, and you'll see as we start building out our application how that creates a pretty easy to follow scaffolding of the different styles for all of your breakpoints. If I go back over to the breakpoints tab though, and I scroll down here, it gives us an example of all the different functions that they have. So there's theme.breakpoints.up if you're above the certain key, down if you're below it, only for if you just want styles at a certain breakpoint, and between certain styles. Okay, but like I said, I'll usually just stick to using the down, so theme.breakpoints.down, and we'll see in our application how that makes things really convenient. So let's actually just head on over in the next video and use the use media query hook as well as the theme.breakpoints functions in our styles object to apply responsive design to our header.